Oh, it's contact. There's contact. And there's contact between Cheryl Paul and Campbell Pilling.
Welcome to Little Rissington for round 5 of the 2023 Daniel Ricciardo Series. We are heading towards the business end of the championship. Just 2 rounds to come after this at GYG towards the northwest of Wales, followed by the finale at Wilton Mill. Here at Rissington, we're in the middle of the UK's Air Force heartland, the circuit located in the midst, actually, of a live RAF base. We just had craft land and then take off again at the base, which is just to the left of turn 1 here at Paddock Bend. And for yours truly, it is the first visit here, but we're informed that that site is a first for those who have visited here on several occasions. Well, many of those driving here, particularly in our cadet and our junior classes, they're going to be hoping that this weekend is a springboard to a takeoff for their career. At the very least, those competing today will be hoping for better luck than the man himself, Daniel Ricciardo. Last time out, we arrived at Houghton Park in the wake of the news that Danny Rick had returned to Formula 1 prior to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, this weekend saw the news that he'd broken his hand in a practice crash at Zandvoort, and everyone here associated with the championship will be hoping he is on the mend as soon as possible. You can see on our screen right now that the track location is listed as Cheltenham. We're actually about halfway between Oxford and the Twin Cities, as you may like to refer to them. Certainly in America you'd call them Twin Cities, Cheltenham and Gloucester. Halfway between them, right in the heart of the Cotswolds. Beautiful area of the country that it is. And it's a very, very twisty circuit. It's fast, overtaking difficult. As you see, schedule for today, the DRS62s will be followed by the DRS125s and then the 100s in each of our respective stages of the day. So we start with qualifying and then through to the heat, and then the pre-final and the grand final in the order. All of them going to be 62s first, then the 125s, our seniors, followed by the juniors, the 100s, and we will end with that grand final, of course, for the DRS 100s at 3:15. Of course, always subject to change on that one. Fingers crossed that nothing will occur that will result in that. So, first up, of course, will be the qualifying for our DRS62s, our cadets, and as you can see, they are all ready to go, and we should see them onto the track in less than 60 seconds, as a matter of fact. And if we just take a look at the warm-up, we can see that Harley Drake was the fastest, followed by Lucas Esser, less than a tenth between that pair. Ashton Redpath, a couple of tenths off the pace, and Oscar Roach, very close between them in that fight for third place. And worth noting, of course, the championship standings. And it's Redpath leading there, 960 points, 9 ahead of Roach, and then a bit of a gap to Lucas Esser on 883. Carter Inskip Clarkson on 872. Our leading academy driver in the 62 championship as we get underway with the karts out on the circuit, and already a bit of racing just up there. Believe that it was Neo Lorenzo that headed them out, and a pass already by one of our yellow plates, one of the more experienced drivers. And just talking about those experienced drivers, it was Harley Drake actually that was left behind before getting out, and he is now out. We could just see the number 8 there. Drake is a little back in the championship. I say a little, considerably actually, back in ninth on 806 points. And that's going to be mostly due to the disqualification that he received at Shennington in our opening round. The collision that he had with Oscar Roach. So the standings a little bit misleading there, just in regards to the competitiveness there of Harley Drake, who we could well expect to see fighting it out for wins today. Just 6.5 minutes to go as they begin to come around for the first flying laps. And we get our first idea of who has the pace. It appears to be Redpath. It is indeed that comes across the line first with 49.2. Carter Ringskip Clarkson jumping up to second in that DRA kart. And now, of course, Drake, who trailed the pack, we see where he goes, and he goes right to the top. 1/10 quicker than Redpath, but we should expect to see the times tumble. Maybe not as much as we did last time out at Hooton Park, where we had that overnight rain and the track's a little damp in patches in the morning. They begin to come around for the second time, and we have no improvements towards the front as of yet. Not worth noting as their Roach goes up into fourth, but Ruben Jenkins is right up there amongst our academy drivers, now just being relegated to fifth as a result of Roach posting that time. And now Drake with a 48.6. Some 6/10 ahead of Redpath. And you have to wonder if that delayed start for him, getting out onto the track, may have actually served an advantage. Getting out in clean air like that may well be playing some part there, as Redpath manages to get within 4/10. But here's Ruben Jenkins now, almost within half a second. And up into third is Ruben Jenkins there. As we see them coming around. Just beginning to come around the final corner now. This is going to be Redpath here across the line. No improvement initially showing up on our timing screens. Lucas Issa goes up into third with a 49 flat. As Carter Ringskip Clarkson makes his way up to fourth. We're up here in the gantry at Little Rissington. We're high above the start-finish line. And we have a fantastic view of the circuit. So good, in fact, that it can be difficult to know exactly where to look, particularly with the times tumbling the way they are. Still no sign yet of anybody being able to get into the 48s along with Harley Drake. Lucas Essa has just gone up to second, and then Carter Ringskip Clarkson edging him out by just 7 1/1000ths. As we're coming up towards 2.5 minutes to go in the session. And we'll see Redpath coming through again in a moment, as Drake has now smashed that seemingly insurmountable time from earlier, a 48.4. Redpath finds some time, first other than Drake to get into the 48s. It's a 48.973, still 5.5 tenths behind the ultimate pace. Drake across the line once again, not far off of his best time, a 48.462, just a half a tenth off of the ultimate pace there. So Drake at the moment actually has 3 laps that are good enough for pole position. Redpath getting his lap time down to a 48.9, almost a 48.9 flat. And a little bit of a move there, just around the outside of the final corner there from 133 Freddie Budd, who went pretty well in the warm-up. Drake once again coming around now with a 4th time that would be good enough for pole position so far, 48.5. And with 50 seconds to go, it's been a tremendously dominant qualifying performance. You just see off to our right, there's some signalling towards Ashton Redpath, clearly trying to let him know that there's a bit of catching up to do, but with the way that some of these academy drivers are performing, as Inskip Clarkson moves up to 3rd place now, Ruben Jenkins is just within a couple of tenths of a front row start here. You'd have to say, if you're starting on the front row alongside Drake here, you'd probably consider that a win, because you could just as easily not put it together and find yourself back in the pack and having to really fight so much more in the heat race. So here we come towards the checkered flag now. Redpath takes it. Just a shade below his fastest. Lucas Esser improves up to a 48.8. Roach coming through, no improvement there, and Inskip Clarkson will hold on to 4th. So it's Harley Drake from Lucas Esser who will take up the front row for the DRS62 heat race, which will be coming up for you as we just take a second glance at our schedule. Should be coming up in around 40 minutes or so from now. So next up will be the DRS125 qualifying, the 62 heat coming up in at 11:55 as a matter of fact, so just over 50 minutes from now. So that's the next time that you'll see Harley Drake, Lucas Esser, Ashton Redpath and co out onto the track. And next up is our 125 qualifying, but here in the 62s to kick off the day, Harley Drake with an almost 4 tenths gap on pole position. Time to go racing here at Little Rissington, and we begin with our DRS62 heat. And in qualifying, it was, of course, Harley Drake who absolutely dominated proceedings, 4 tenths quicker than Lucas Esser in second place. We mentioned in our previous session the DRS 100 qualifying, the exceptional effort of Jakub Milsarski in 4th place there. And it was a pretty pretty good day in general for academy drivers. Lining up fourth for this one will be the DRS plate. DRA, excuse me. Rissington Clarkson will be lining up in fourth. And also Ruben Jenkins, our apologies, was looking pretty quick. We were looking at the wrong class there. But certainly the 62 qualifying, the battle from 2nd through 7th was very, very competitive. And it'll be intriguing to see how that holds up here in the race. Now, for those of you watching the stream and not familiar with this circuit, you'll see the drivers essentially cutting out part of the track. That's because they use the outer loop of the circuit here at Little Rissington to start the race. That being the gearbox layout, as they call it here. And that's simply to allow them a bigger acceleration zone. Of course, when you come around the layout that we're using for racing purposes here at Rissington, the final corner and the run to Paddock Bend, there's just simply not enough road, really, for the drivers to use. So that's why they come around the gearbox layout and start the race that way. They're just being told to slow the pace. Still maybe coming a little quick. No, it looks like we're good to go. Drake leads away. Oh, has he left the door open for Redpath? He has. Redpath into the lead at the first corner. And Lucas Esser there losing out. And I think also potentially losing out there was Rissington Clarkson in the DRA. And already the 4 yellow plates now occupying the top 4 places. Oscar Roach in particular will be relieved by that. Rissington Clarkson still they're coming together there. And that is Kai Sidhu there. And William Heath in the 110 going into the dogleg, and notorious for incidents. And oh, that was unfortunate there actually. Heath spinning around on the entry and just really nowhere there that Kai Sidhu could go. Move there potentially at the loop. Drake initially going for the inside, but that puts him on the outside, and then a chance of an up and under coming out of top bend. Now they come down towards the dogleg again. And Rissington Clarkson keeping in touch with the top 4 for the moment. Around they come, up towards the elbow, move for the lead, move for third as well. Drake retakes the front, and Roach up to third ahead of Lucas Esser. And at the front of the academy class, it's a big lead now for Carter Rissington Clarkson. A second ahead already of Neo Ruizo. As we go into the dogleg once again. Drake now leading Redpath for a moment there. Just ducking out and looking to the inside. But you're never really going to make a pass there going into the second part. And I don't think that's really what Redpath was trying to do. It was just the camera angle deceiving us there on the stream as they come back around towards the final corner once again. And it's Drake leading Redpath. Roach, Esser, and Rissington Clarkson, as Ruben Jenkins now ahead of Luizo. And up into second place, still a second and a half off of the front in the academy class. And Freddie Budd actually in position to challenge a third there, as we almost see a move up the front by Roach on Redpath. Up towards the elbow they come again. Inskip Clarkson just beginning to drop back just ever so slightly off of that top four. As the rain is beginning to fall, we can see rain on our windows here, and it's coming from the direction we said. It's coming from Paddock Bend. Now, how much of the circuit it will hit, we don't know. It'll drift towards what is essentially the kind of eastern part of the track, if you will. Drake still leading. Redpath, Roach, Esser, Inskip Clarkson, who is now 2.3 seconds ahead at the front of the academy field. But I suspect that he's looking for better. But the question will be how they navigate this side of the circuit for the moment. As it stands right now, it's looking pretty static towards the front of the field. They're all close together. There's always a chance of a move, and there is a move by Esser into third place. That'll let the top two break away just a little bit. And Redpath making up just a little ground at the moment. The meeting is now officially declared open. As now a move for third. And it's Roach that takes it into the final corner. Not a normal passing place, but it was set up going through the elbow. And Inskip Clarkson a bit of fourth, and so he does go a little better. As we said a moment ago, as good as he was at the front of the academy class, you know he's going to be aiming for more. And now Esser going to come back at him in towards the dogleg. Drake at the moment just holding off the attentions of Ashton Redpath. The big fight at the moment is for third place. Drake, Redpath, Roach, Inskip Clarkson and Esser. Freddie Budd, meanwhile, is in third place, having overtaken Neo Luiso a bit earlier. That would have come a few laps ago. At the moment, I think these drivers will be thankful that the rain coming from the kind of the northwest area of the circuit, I think they'll be glad that it's not too much of a factor for the moment. Esser getting ahead of Inskip Clarkson. That'll be another one of those passes that was set up through the elbow. And we see a contact warning. We can't see who it's for. Is it Lucas Esser? It is indeed. So clearly, contact involved in that battle for fourth place. Top three broken away. Actually, Roach at the moment looks as if he may be the quickest. Now putting Redpath under big time pressure, and Redpath was slow out of the elbow, and that's going to let Roach pull the up and under going into Paddock. And through he goes. Now can Redpath maybe set something up? Potentially a dive, not going to happen there. A dive into the loop there, and now they go into top bend. And Drake is pulling out now to a lead of 7/10 with just 80 seconds to go. plus the extra lap. And just to confirm, because I'm hearing a conversation outside, the meeting has been declared open due to the rain that has just arrived, just a trickle of it. It appears, and nothing more, as Inskip Clarkson is all over the back of Lucas Esser, looking for the move into turn 3. Esser takes a wide line through the loop there, but holds the position as we see a battle between Jakob Schultz and Neo Luiso on the screens and on the stream. And Schultz, I believe, will have taken that place from Luiso, because certainly a lap or so ago they were in the opposite order. As the front runners come round now, and with 4 seconds to go, well, they say 2 laps. So they add a little time on and say 2 laps to go. And through turn 3 they come. And the main battle seems once again to be between Esser and Inskip Clarkson. Drake coming up now towards the elbow. Has a pretty good gap on Roach. We'll just see how they come over the line. Redpath in 3rd place, banging his steering wheel in frustration as we now head for the last lap. And Inskip Clarkson has made it back past Lucas Esser. The gap at the front, 6/10, but the fight for 4th still on as they come side by side out of the loop. This should be Inskip Clarkson's corner going through top bend. He has the line and down towards the dogleg they go. And that's good defending there from Inskip Clarkson, but does he compromise his line through the second part? Yes, he does. Esser back through the up and under, works through the dogleg. Meanwhile, coming through the elbow now is Harley Drake, set to come around the final corner and take the win. Although Roach gets very close towards the line, but Drake takes it. Just 2 tenths in it in the end, as the frustrated Ashton Redpath is left to finish 3rd. Having taken the lead at the start, when the door was left a little open. But he is eventually put back to 3rd. Drake makes it through, and then Roach with that move coming round the final corner after what appeared to be a mistake from Ashton Redpath going through the elbow. And the battle for 4th was the main contest towards the end of that race, and it was Lucas Esser that took it in the end. But you have to tip your hat there to Carter Inskip Clarkson in 5th, making the best of the battle there for that 4th place. The leading academy driver, he is in the end there by some 10.5 seconds ahead of Ruben Jenkins, who looked very, very good in qualifying and certainly had himself actually 6.6 seconds in the end is the gap between the top 2 in the academy class. We call it the overall gap there, the gap to the leader for Ruben Jenkins there. But absolutely fantastic stuff there from Carter Inskip Clarkson. And we see the final results. So Drake takes the win despite leaving the door open on the start. He bounces back to take the checkered flag. Oscar Roach closing to within a couple of tenths right at the death there, with Ashton Redpath in 3rd place and Carter Inskip Clarkson the winner among the academy drivers. We now will turn our attention to the 125 heat race, and we'll join you for that in just under 10 minutes. Welcome back to Little Rissington for round 5 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. It's been a drama-filled morning, and we were very, very relieved after that big accident that happened that caused the red flag at the start of the DRS 100 race, that everybody was okay and safe to resume, and everyone got the repairs they needed to get back out on the circuit. Unfortunately, that did not quite happen over at the Vintage Sports Car Club meeting over at Mallory Park yesterday. Motorsport UK were announcing that Roger Twelvetrees lost his life in an incident at that meeting over there. And the thoughts of everyone here at Little Rissington are with his family and friends, and also the members of the Vintage Sports Car Club, and all members of the motorsport community have their thoughts with Roger Twelvetrees and his family after the sad accident that happened yesterday. We will now be having a minute's silence ahead of our DRS62 pre-final to remember Roger Twelvetrees. Welcome back to Little Rissington, round 5 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series, and we hope that the remainder of the afternoon will go ahead safely and that we can avoid the kind of incident that we had earlier. Thankfully, everybody okay as a result of, after, we should say, the incident that happened over at Turn 1. Charlie Ratford being involved, having, I believe it was Freddie Farrell, it was indeed, landing on him there, and also involved were Sherry Ann Powell and Daniela Sutton, but everybody walking away and able to race again, though Sherry Ann Powell actually stopped on the first lap, just to see if we could maybe catch her at some point, just to verify whether or not that stoppage was a direct consequence of the accident. As we see the 62s back out on circuit for the pre-final. And of course, just touching on that information we relayed earlier about Roger Twelvetrees, we do hope that we can have a safe meeting here and race in respect of him and his life. Once again, those of you who are just tuning in to the live feed over on Facebook and YouTube, you may not have seen the drivers using the outer layout, the gearbox layout as they call it here at Little Rissington. Of course, they go around the final 3 corners, the bottom bend, and then through the elbow and the final corner right in front of our commentary position. They would normally go through those on racing laps, but when they take the start, they go around the outer gearbox circuit. It effectively gives them a longer run to start the race. It's really too short of a start-finish straight here at Little Rissington to have a real rolling start. Looks like the drivers this time are coming around in an orderly manner. And we'd anticipate a green flag, although just there is a flag being waved over on the far side of the circuit. I don't know if that's going to interrupt proceedings. Looks like we will start. We do indeed. Harley Drake taking the lead to begin with, and Redpath moving into second. Ahead of Esser, there was a hearing that there may be a false start. It is indeed. So we will go again. I'm just trying to see why that may be the case. Can only imagine that they came down a little too quickly. So we try again. Hopefully we won't see the there you go. There's the confirmation that they came down too quickly. I think if anything, it may have been that they accelerated too quickly out of the final corner. And here we go. Andy's going to guide them. Now they'll go. That looked better. And Roach is going to try and hold the position on the outside, but he can't. Redpath does get into second. And a big move being made around the outside there for 5th place. So taking the lead there of the Academy class. It was hard to tell who that was. We'll get confirmation of that as they come back around. But for a moment at least, Rissington Clarkson will not head that class as into the dogleg we go. And a move being made by Lucas Esser. Roach holds a position initially, but then the up and under. And the 111 was the driver that made the move, and that was Jakob Schultz with a brilliant move around the outside to take the lead initially, and then contact at the exit of the dogleg between he and, I can only imagine it was Rissington Clarkson. So here we go, top two pull away. Redpath taking a shallow line there into Paddock Bend, and now through the loop they go. And so it is a contact warning there. We just saw it on our screen. I believe it was Rissington Clarkson. We were just looking at the circuit before we saw that on the screen. Rain beginning to fall. As we keep an eye on the front of the circuit. And this is heavier rain than we've had all day. So they're going to have to be careful as they come through the elbow here. The slippery surface flag comes out as Drake continues to lead Redpath. And the DRA actually has dropped back and a move for the lead in the Academy class. Believe that's Ruben Jenkins getting around Jakob Schultz into Paddock Bend. Through the loop they go. Drake continues to lead Redpath. Roach is 0.8 of a second back. Coming up to the elbow once again. They're all fairly well spread out right now. They're in relatively close contact, but nobody pulling out any kind of big lead on anybody else. Now the battle begins to get underway, and this is between, and we just saw on the screen, Drake having a big bump. He must have clattered a curb there, going through the turn 3 there. But the battle further down the field is between Jakob Schultz and Rissington Clarkson. So we have 6 minutes to go. And Redpath now close right in on Drake. And side by side he goes to the outside, getting a good run out of the elbow. Meanwhile, Inskip Clarkson is now having a look at the academy leader, Ruben Jenkins. Drake goes wide through the loop, but holds the lead, and a contact further back in the academy class. And was that might well have been Jakob Schultz there. We'll double check that for you as Redpath closes in on Drake under braking for the dogleg, and it looks like Gesser is going to make a move on the exit on Roach, potentially for third. Through they come, the rain picking up intensity now as Drake comes under more pressure than he has done for the entire day so far, and he doesn't get a good run through the elbow there. Redpath will try and take advantage around the outside of the final corner. He can't, oh, they're nearly contact as he tried to tuck back in behind. And it was indeed Jakob Schultz that was and off in turn 2. A spinner out in turn 2, and the top 5. Oh, contact leaders! Drake and Redpath came together. I don't quite know how that happened. Presumably, Redpath missed his braking zone because there was some distance between them. Here we go. We'll see the replay now. No, Drake lost it. Drake lost it, and so did Redpath. They both had separate incidents, and now we have a full course yellow, and the leader is Oscar Roach, and Inskip Clarkson, having fallen down to third in the academy category, is now second overall. And now the question is going to be, do we get a restart? If so, when? How long will there be? And could we have an outright winner from the academy class? Ruben Jenkins is up to 4th, with Redpath down to 5th and Drake down to 6th. And Drake, who has been the class of the field almost all day, and he just begins to elude the pressure of Redpath before the spin, and now it looks as if just... Okay, so we're not going green yet. We heard something about going green, but that's not the case. And they slow right down, and now there seems to be a problem here for Oscar Roach. And Oscar Roach can't get up to speed, and in the pack, we're saying full course yellow, but we look like we're racing out there. And it's the DRA of Inskip Clarkson that is leading the field right now. And here they come. He goes wide there, does Inskip Clarkson, and that, I believe, has allowed Esser back into things. And Harley Drake all of a sudden is in third, clouts the curb. We are indeed racing. And it's Redpath now in the lead. Everything changing, and Esser has dropped back down to 9th. Roach, meanwhile, nowhere to be found. So here we go, Redpath and Inskip Clarkson will challenge for the win. It appears as if the rain has stopped. Here comes Inskip Clarkson, closing in under braking. Not able to make the move there on Ashram Redpath. And now it appears as if Redpath is just beginning to pull away. Move around the outside there. And that's for 4th place overall. And that's from Neo Loiso. And there's action seemingly wherever you look here at Little Rissington. And Redpath for the moment doesn't seem to have quite shaken off Inskip Clarkson. Through the dogleg they go. Redpath gets a decent exit. Through bottom bend, now up to the elbow once again. Harley Drake moved up to third quickly after the restart, but as we got a battle for fourth, and that is the 1-1-1. That's Schultz getting back ahead there initially, but then down the inside, that's the 1-3-2, and that is Luiso. So still the battle for second in the academy class is on. As they go side by side, and Redpath goes a little wide, but that'll give him a good exit. Out of top bend, and now down towards the dogleg they go. And it looks like Jakob Schultz has lost out there, losing a couple of positions. Ruben Jenkins, it appears, would have gotten past. And Inskip Clarkson now right on the back of Redpath and will look to the inside, going on to start the final lap, and he's going to take the lead as the rain returns. Well, this is going to be the ultimate test of skill. Holding on to the overall win as an academy driver, and they're still, Jakob Schultz is still in the wars, going right at it there for what I believe is now fifth overall. It is indeed, with Ruben Jenkins, so he's gotten back ahead of Jenkins there somehow. And here they go, up towards the elbow for the final time. And Redpath for the moment appears as if he's too far back. We're going to have an academy overall winner. Carter Inskip Clarkson takes it from Redpath in a race where there was so much action and overtaking thanks to the rain that we quite frankly simply did not know where to look. So it's a DRA winner. Redpath being denied in literally at the start of the last lap. They crossed the line to start the last lap side by side. Harley Drake rescues third. I suppose for Drake and Redpath, it's a moral victory for both, because after spinning out at the same time in separate incidents over at the dogleg, they managed to rescue second and third place out of it. So a wild race in the end, and it's big disappointment for Oscar Roach. I believe he would have gone off over at turn 2, because we can now see that there's 2 carts over there making their way back towards the pits. And the final result, Inskip Clarkson the winner, Ashton Redpath second, Harley Drake third as we mentioned, Neo Luiso in fourth, Jakob Schultz fighting everywhere, it appeared, in the effort to take 5th place, was so nearly 4th, and then Ruben Jenkins in 6th. And we, wow, definitely time to catch your breath after that one. We had drama for reasons we'd rather not see in the 100 heat, and we start our afternoon with drama for all the best of reasons. We're going to be back in just a few moments, actually. The DRS125 pre-final is going to be getting underway very, very shortly. So we will take a quick break and be back with you in a moment. Back with you here for the DRS62 Grand Final at Little Rissington. And, well, these cadets have arguably stolen the show here in round 5 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. The rain obviously spicing things up in the pre-final, but even before then we had a pretty good battle on our hands between Drake and Redpath before they both spun out going into the dogleg. Just seeing here for this race, Drake, of course, is lining up on pole position alongside Redpath. And they're just being told to cool it, slow it down a bit. So here they come around the gearbox circuit, skipping the dogleg for the moment, and they will come around. There's actually a problem over on the far side of the circuit, over to our right. Trying to see who that is. It may be Lucas Esser. Well, either way, we're not going to get a start. We'll see it on the camera in a moment. It does look like a yellow plate. Being pushed off the circuit. And it's not Lucas Esser, it's Roach. So Oscar Roach in some trouble, and it appears as if he may not take the start in this grand final. Still over by the final corner of the gearbox circuit there. Just trying to listen to Matt to get some indication as to whether or not there will be a start. I'd be surprised if there was one this time by. We're going this time is the word, so cruel, cruel luck for Oscar Roach, who will lose significant ground to Ashton Redpath in the battle for the championship. And so here we go. Drake holds the lead from Redpath, but they go side by side through paddock and into 2. Redpath might have the line for the loop, but Drake gets in front and contact. And I think that's Jakob Saltz, it appears, in the 111. We're just looking to see if we can see the DRA there. It looks like that is Inskip Clarkson in 4th place. Just looking at the TV there, and he's actually going to lose out to 132 there, Luis, though. As Drake leads them around the elbow. Redpath right on his tail. Redpath during the heat was banging his steering wheel in frustration en route to what was, by Daniel Ricciardo Series standards, a distant 3rd. Now he's harassing Harley Drake for the overall win. Down towards the dogleg they go. There's no move there. Drake takes the wide line for the first apex, and it might give Redpath the exit. It does indeed. Around the outside, going in towards the bottom bend. Drake has the line, and he'll keep the place as they head towards the elbow. And Redpath is going to tuck back in for now. It will allow Lucas Esser to catch up, while Inskip Clarkson, after being overhauled initially by Luiso, is now at the head of the academy class once again. And the big fight there is going to be for second place. We mentioned the contact earlier. I believe it was Freddie Budd that was also involved with Jakob Schultz. And through the dogleg they go, and the top three just spread out a little bit now. Looks like Drake has pulled out the lead to a couple of tenths. I'd say Redpath is very good going through the elbow. As we come round, still 9.5 minutes to go, of course. We have quite a bit of extra time in these grand finals, and Drake will be wanting to stretch his legs here after being on pole by 0.4 of a second, give or take a thousandth. I think he'll have been going into the races thinking we can just race clear, but that's not the case, and Redpath making up ground on this lap. Into the elbow they go once again. Round the final corner, and our winner of the pre-final, Rissington Clarkson, he's in the lead of the academy class there, but Ruben Jenkins up to second there now has him well in his sights. The top three go into and out of the dogleg, and Lucas Sessa gets a good exit. Well, although that was a full course yellow. Full course yellow. Can only imagine this is for the retrieval of Jakob Schultz's kart. Andy is over, just collecting it from the outside of the top bend, and what this will mean is that our pack will gather back up. The top six are right together, and I believe we'll wait for the three behind, Kai Sidhu, Will Heath and Freddie Budd, to catch up before we go green again. We're going green this time round. It'll give the trailing trio plenty of time to catch up through the dogleg. And so Drake now will pace the field back round. And essentially, with what we imagine is around about 7 minutes to go, the race will reset. Bang on 7 minutes. And Drake slowly building up the speed, and he goes now. And it's a clean restart. Redpath might have just been shaping up for a move there into the loop, but they all stay as they are. A bit of side-by-side action towards the back of the field. But everybody holds steady. I guess the big winner of that full course yellow will be Rissington Clarkson, because it's a chance for him to get right on the back of the top three. Whereas before, he was at the head of that academy class, but he wasn't exactly pulling away from Ruben Jenkins. As here goes a move from Redpath into the elbow. He's taken the lead from Harley Drake, who, realistically, that's the first time he's been overtaken in anger all day. Of course, he spun at the same time as Redpath as the rain fell in the pre-final. Drake coming back. Redpath is not quite getting the good line through the loop. There may have been the slightest of slight contact, and now Drake gets the exit. Oh, and there's a contact there. And did Drake move over there? That's the question. It was hard to tell. We didn't quite have the angle there on that particular camera position. It was just somewhat obscured by the marshal's post there. And the conversation we can hear outside, did he leave him room, is the question being asked. We'll see the replay again, see if we get a better angle of it. Make of that what you will. From that second angle, it looked almost as if they kind of turned into each other. I think Redpath may have been concerned that Drake was going to run him out of room. Interested to see how the stewards determine that one. On one front, they could just leave it alone. It doesn't really affect the race. Drake was alongside, just edging ahead, and now he is ahead, and Redpath has to do it again. But will the stewards see it that way, is the question. Redpath is going to try and position himself for an up and under. I think something fell off of Drake's kart there. Something fell off of somebody towards the front, and it looked like Inskip Clarkson hit it, whatever it was. Well, Drake has pulled out a slight gap now. Pretty much even Stevens between the top four in terms of the gap between them, although Essa closes up a little bit on Redpath. Going into the start of another lap. 3.5 minutes to go. Who will be standing on the podium and who will be on the top step? Essa, if anything, is closer to Redpath for second now. Into the dogleg they come once again. Redpath, a bit of a tighter line through him there, going through the second part, but Essa doesn't close in. We're in another one of those holding patterns where they're all spread a little bit and something is going to happen somewhere between them. Meanwhile, in the academy class, we're watching Kaisidu at the moment. He's fourth of that class, 7th overall. It's Ruben Jenkins in second now, 2 seconds behind Cartoon Skip Clarkson in the battle for the academy win. I think Inskip Clarkson will want more, and certainly that full course yellow was a big benefit to him because Jenkins was keeping in touch with him prior to that, and now they're pretty well spread out among the academy drivers. As Redpath making a move on Drake, not quite, the door shut, and Inskip Clarkson is very close to Essa now. Redpath losing a bit of ground as a result, and Drake pulls clear by around half a second. It shows us 4 attempts. It may be a little more than that, because that would have cost Redpath momentum around Paddock Bend as well, and Essa closes in as Redpath runs a little wide through the loop. And now it could be a three-way fight for second. Essa, Redpath looks back. Through they go. Inskip Clarkson may have had the better line out on the exit there. And indeed, it remains with him being the closest to Lucas Essa, who gets a bad exit out off the elbow. But he'll have the favourable line for the final corner, and he holds on. Minute to go. Redpath this time gets his line right through the loop. And he has closed the gap to Harley Drake. 4.5 tenths as they came over the line. We're sure it's less than that. Well, I'll say that, but Drake gets a good run down to the dogleg. And I think he may have kept that gap. Once again, it's Inskip Clarkson looking for a yellow plate scalp, if you will. Took the overall win in the pre-final, but he'll want to stand on an overall podium after this grand final. They cross the line with time on the clock, so there will be 2 more laps after this, you'd think. Well, they say 2 laps now. And Drake this time has had his lead reduced. Redpath now on the attack as they head down towards the dogleg. Through bottom bend. Is Redpath close enough? No, he's not. Can he get the run through the elbow? Yes, he can. He's not going to be able to pull to the outside there, but he's going to try and set himself up, but setting himself up well is Inskip Clarkson with a move up to 3rd place ahead of Essa. That's the exact move that he pulled for the win on Redpath in the pre-final. And who knows, if something happens with the pair out front, he could pounce for an overall win here. Drake looks like he's pulled out a little bit of a gap once again, coming into the dogleg. So good he is, Harley Drake, through the loop, but Redpath is very close at the exit. And they're almost side by side. They are side by side, and Drake is edge wide, but he could be with a chance to make a go, and he will have a go. And it could be a three-way finish. Inskip Clarkson side by side with Redpath for 2nd, and when he loses that to Essa, they cross the line. Drake wins, Redpath 2nd, Inskip Clarkson 3rd, Essa 4th. And once again, the DRS62s, our cadets, we said right before this grand final that they had stolen the show today, and they do it yet again in the grand final. Harley Drake looked like he'd been edged out coming through bottom bend, but he holds on to throw it up the inside, going into the elbow, and he takes the win from Redpath. And you'd have to say it's been Harley Drake's weekend, 4 attempts faster in qualifying than anybody else. But arguably the star driver amongst the 62s is Carter Inskip Clarkson, taking an overall podium to go with the pre-final overall victory. So it's Drake, Redpath, Inskip Clarkson and Essa, just a 0.13 between Redpath 2nd and Essa 4th as they cross the line. And Ruben Jenkins coming home in 5th to be the 2nd of our academy drivers. And then it is Neo Luiso who takes the final podium position of the academy group. We were hoping to be able to get to the grid for ahead of this 125 grand final, but I'm not sure after that full course yellow we had during that 62 race, not sure we will have that, but it's been fantastic so far, and hopefully the 125s can provide us more of the same. Welcome back to Little Rissington, and it's time for our podium presentations for round 5 here of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. We begin with our cadets, our DRS62 class, and we will start with the 3rd place driver in that category, Neo Luiso. And in 2nd place, Ruben Jenkins. We were trying to figure out if our Academy winner would have to stand on the podium twice, but it's top step on the Academy podium for Carter Inskip Clarkson. Well, that, I think, is the only mistake that Carter's made all afternoon. Congratulations to Carter and to our Academy drivers on the podium this afternoon. And now it is time for our DRS62's overall podium presentation. And in third place is Lucas Esser. And in second place, Harley Drake. And our overall winner for DRS62's, Ashton Redpath. Time now for our DRS125 podium presentation. And as they leave, we say congratulations to our DRS62 Supers. Our novice winner for the 125's 9th place overall, Ryan Williams. And third place overall in the DRS 125's, Henry Foote. Coming out on top for second place in that great battle with Henry Foote was Oliver Owen. And our overall winner, Sam Faulkner. Congratulations to our podium finishers and to our Academy winner in the DRS 125s. Our novice winner, I should say. And the novice winner for the DRS 100 was Jakob Milcharski. Now for our overall podium finishers in the DRS 100, in third place, Liam Karabelov. Snapping on the heels of our winner all day was second place, Connor Scarisbrick. And holding on for a trio of wins was Jack Robinson. And a final congratulations to our podium finishers and a couple of a real sweetener for these drivers. To add to the podium presentations. And a final congratulations for our DRS 100 podium finishers. Well, it's Glannygores next up, and then the finale at Wilton Mill for these drivers. And, well, I mean, if we get action like that, then it should be pretty exciting as we wrap up this championship. Ben McPhillips joining you here from Little Rissington, here for round 5 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. Thank you for joining us.